So why should companies care about sustainability? The simple answer to that question is that consumers today care about sustainability. I've seen data that suggests that some 7-8 years ago, we reached the tipping point where more than 50% of consumers were more willing to buy and willing to pay more for sustainable products. Okay? This tendency is even stronger amongst younger consumers, and by that I mean the millennials and the Gen Zs. They're more concerned about sustainability when they buy. They're more likely to research whether the brand is sustainable or not, and they're more willing to pay more for sustainable products. So this makes a compelling reason. A senior executive that I spoke to at a very large FMCG company said that today, not being sustainable is like not doing R&D. You will not survive in the long run. The other angle to this is that there's a demand for talent. And in particular, millennials and Gen Zs are more likely to be willing to accept an offer from a company that's sustainable, and they're more likely to remain in the job at least 2 years if the company is sustainable. CSR budgets don't have an ROI attached to them. They're generally a budget where the company is investing a certain amount of money to do some good. Now, this creates a really great opportunity to use the funds to see if one can create sustainable projects that are scalable, invest the money, see what the ROI is, and then for the projects where there is higher ROI, you can then scale those projects as a business proposition. Now, often people see a conflict between CSR and ROI, but I think this is a little bit not a good way to look at it, because if you just do CSR with no ROI attached to it, then what happens is that you have a very limited budget. So the amount of good you can do is limited by the budget that the company can allocate for CSR. Whereas once it becomes a scalable project where there's a return on investment, then the sky is the limit. So the amount of good that can be done with a scalable project that has both social impact and profit associated with it is much, much larger. Sustainable initiatives do give companies advantages well beyond sort of being able to sell more to customers who care about sustainability. One of the key areas where sustainability helps is being able to have conversations with the government, and the government is responsible for creating the regulatory framework within which corporates operate. Now, if you're a sustainable company, you're more likely to have a place at the table to discuss regulation, which enables you to be able to shape regulation rather than simply being the recipient of it. And I think that this proactive opportunity is a very significant advantage that it confers on companies that are sustainable. So sustainability initiatives, when done right, can have a positive impact on multiple stakeholders. So obviously the beneficiaries benefit. So give you an example. So AAK, a large oils and fats player in Europe, has an initiative with in the shea industry. So shea is a wild crop. It's collected by very poor women living on less than $1 a day, and AAK started a direct trade program with the goal of positively impacting the amount of money that these women had. In the process, they helped them to process the shea more efficiently, which reduced the labor inputs. It improved, shea needs to be cooked, so there was water and wood involved, which got reduced because of the processing. And they opened bank accounts for these women, which made them, a part of the financial system. The program benefited AAK because it created better quality inputs for them. They were then able to sell these better quality inputs to, after processing, to their customers. Because the sourcing now was sustainable for the customers and inspirational, employees at one organization, for example, got super interested in their own time, created a new product, which is now being sold in Europe, and €1 from each sale is going back into the Colonna Faso program that OAK has for these women. So impact on the beneficiary, obviously, impact on the creator of the program, AAK, and impact on their customers. Well, first of all, I think that, when we think about people paying more for sustainable products, we have to think about segments, right? So certain segments care more about sustainable products. If you're somebody who is barely managing to, put food on the table and meet the other living needs, you're not going to pay more for sustainability. So there is a segment that has the resources to pay more and has the desire because they care about it. It turns out that younger customers like the millennials and Gen Zs, as a percentage of this group, are much more willing to pay more. I think it's important that these people also investigate. They're more likely to ensure that there's no greenwashing. So it's super important that when you say it's sustainable, that you actually are sustainable. The second thing is that sustainability is a very big word. For some people, it may be the carbon impact. For some people, it could be water. Some people, it could be women's empowerment. I mean, there are 17 SDGs that the UN has put out. So which one rocks the boat for your customer? So you really need to think more specifically. Think about it like a product attribute. Which SDG does which segment care about? And then build that into your program, and then for the segment that you're targeting, and then go after them, and they'll be willing to pay more.